Hi folks, I've got a Wuben E6 to show you, have a look at, talk about, and right from the get-go, it's a dinky little thing, isn't it? It's an AA sized light. It'll run from an AA battery or a 14500. We'll come back to that shortly. Finish and build quality wise looks excellent. Always have a look at the tail clip, you know, that always gives you a good clue to start off with. And look at the pressure I'm putting on that. You're certainly not going to bend that out of shape. In terms of operation, it's really straightforward. Now you'll notice this little breathing light, as Wuben call it. That's really handy at night or in the tent or whatever to locate it. You can turn that on or off. One click on, one click off. In the on position we can hold and cycle through our modes, low, medium and high. And double clicks take us to our strobe modes. And operation wise, that's it. You don't get much more straightforward than that. Now you've probably noticed the size of the head. Look at the lens in there. There should be a little bit of a clue starting to raise its head now. Wuben have nicknamed this light the little steel cannon. It's not made of steel obviously, but it's an AA sized mini thrower. Let's have a look what the light comes with. We've got our manual, some spare O-rings and a lanyard, and in the light itself we have a Wuben 14500 battery with a USB-C charging built in and a protection circuit on the battery itself. I will come back perhaps on the end of the video and have a chat about 14500 size lights, 14500 batteries, AA's. You might know all about them, so I'm not going to waffle on about it right now. I'll pop it on the end of the video. Let me grab the manual. The manual's a touch on the small side, so I'll just take some screenshots and overlay them as we're talking. The power button there also doubles as a battery indicator for us to tell us how much battery life we've got left. But in terms of performance there, with a 14500, 900 lumens on high, 100 on medium, 10 low, strobe and SOS. And a nickel, I can never pronounce it, and an MH battery, 350 on high, dropping to 170, medium 100, 10 low. 400 metre beam distance, that's hence the nickname, the steel cannon. 42,000 candela, drop resistant to 1.5 metres and IP68. So the 900 lumen setting, it'll become obvious once I take it outside how immensely useful that is. The light isn't designed or intended for extended use of that 900 lumens, but for those little short blasts it is really, really impressive. I found it's very slowly started to back off over the course of about a minute. You don't notice initially, you know, perhaps about the first 30 or 40 seconds, and then it becomes a little bit more noticeable as the light starts to back itself off. It doesn't get particularly hot. Digressing slightly if I may, one thing about these dual powered lights, and by dual powered I mean we can use the 3.7 14500 or 1.2 1.5 rechargeable disposable, is they tend to work good with one, not the other. Whereas you'll see when we're outside, because I'm going to show you with both, but it works really, really well with either of these two types of batteries, making it a really viable choice to run off both. Not at the same time, of course, either or. So let's get to the important part, take it outside and show you what it can do. Hey folks, I'm out with the Wuben E6, starting off its lowest level. Let me show you where I am. And as we can see close up, that's pretty useful, but Let's go up a level and have a look at this set of trees here to my left. Probably about 50 metres. It's lighting it up easily to me. Hopefully the camera's picking that up pretty well. And then as we extend the distance out towards 100 metres, let's go for our high mode. I don't know about you, but did you believe that such a thing was possible from a 1450 powered light? And look at that peripheral spill as well. You're nudging the performance of a much larger light here, aren't we? And let me scroll through. Medium. That is doing it. It's that one though, isn't it? Look at all that peripheral spill as well around us. Let me stop here and I'll change batteries, and I'll put a rechargeable 1.2 volt AA in there and see what we get in this same place. On the lowest mode I can't see any difference because on paper there isn't. The same with its medium, no difference. High or turbo if you prefer, whichever one. It says high in the manual. On the same distance. Yeah, it doesn't obviously it doesn't have the oomph of the lithium battery, but that still isn't bad, is it? Not bad at all. In fact, really impressive for a AAA battery. So you really have got a couple of useful choices here, haven't you, with this the dual fuel powered, if that's the right way to phrase it. Am I backing off a touch there, is it? Yeah, so I was saying, you've got a really couple of useful options there with the 1450 and the AA powered. You're not lacking at all really, are you, on that AA? Let's move somewhere else and put a little bit more distance on and have another look. So I'm a touch further on. Lovely, plenty of peripheral spill. Look at the little beam cutting down into the distance there. Scroll through our levels. Medium. High. You're not going to get long on the high as the light warms up and starts to back itself off, but it's not been particularly noticeable to me at the moment. Perhaps I need to leave it running longer. Scroll through again. Let's move along and get some more distance. So we start off at medium. I'll just pop a picture of where I am so you can see down the side of this lake in the daylight. Let me show you where I am. That bird doesn't like it, does it? And then straight up to turbo or high mode. It says high mode in the manual. Look at that. You just wouldn't believe that was possible, would you, from a light this size running from a 14500. Let me show you in the other direction. That shows the peripheral spill really, really well there, doesn't it? And then don't think you could expect better than that, could you? Sorry, I thought I heard something behind me then. Yeah, sorry, I was saying, I don't think you could expect any better from that. let's take it home. In fact, actually, let's have one last look this way. It's not feeling particularly warm. Let me make sure we're on full power. The little breathing light button is really handy, by the way, for finding that the UI button during the night. Remarkably impressed with this, guys, for the size and the performance. Let's take it back home. So just expanding a little bit more on AA size batteries. You got your 14500, which is, or should be, the same size as a normal AA battery. Your crucial difference is a 14500 has 3.7 volts, hence the much improved performance when you're using this type of battery. A rechargeable AA is normally 1.2, and disposable is normally around 1.5. But like I say, they should all be the same size. Hence we've got the slightly different performance, well, slightly different in between those two types of batteries and significantly different when you use a 14500. Jumping back again to the manual there, we can see which types of battery Wuben have recommended. So the 14500, of course, protected, 14500 cautious use unprotected, alkaline rechargeable recommended, and carbon batteries cautious use. Now, I wouldn't touch carbon batteries with a barge pole. In fact, I don't think you can actually get hold of them anymore, can you? But the other ones will be okay. I did pay a particular bit of attention now in between the protected and the unprotected. The light itself does have inbuilt over discharge protection, so you can actually use either or. And the reason that's kind of important is that, let me just find one without knocking them all over. Let me grab this one here, bear with me. So here we have a 14500 protected, and on top of the battery, the protection circuit kind of sits on top, and what you'll see then versus an unprotected, the purple one, there's a very, very slight difference in the length. And the reason I'm pointing this out is that for a light to operate correctly, this bit here, we have to make contact with the copperish bit tucked down there. So in other words, it's got to be screwed on properly. If the battery is slightly too long, which some of these readily available 14500 with the protection circuit are a little bit too long, you can see straight away, doesn't matter, I'm not going to make the connection, the battery's too long. And what might happen is that you're going to try and over tighten that, and it's not going to work, and you're going to end up damaging your light. Here's another example of the inconsistencies you can get with these 14500s. This one here is even longer than those, so the difference there is really jumping out at you, isn't it? And then look at that comparison with the Wuben. See, absolutely no chance for that one to work. So just be careful what you pop in it. So stick with the battery provided by Wuben. They do replacements because they are slightly short and higher capacities, and you've got the inbuilt charge, so you're probably better off sticking with those. But if you do want to grab some spares locally, 14500s, you might be better off going for your unprotected because they are shorter, so making them about the same size as the Wuben battery, and these work perfectly fine. There we go.